I think what happened earlier in this week that surprised me the most was our dear friend meeting, or Marjorie Taylor Greene, or MTG, or whatever, you know, or Sauvignon QAnon Blanc soccer mom. Sauvignon Blanc QAnon soccer mom. There's something there. So Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene was asked openly by a reporter whether or not she had been vaccinated. If you haven't seen her response, it's very worth taking a look.
Aaron Navarro, CBS News. Whip Scalise said today he got vaccinated, citing this Delta variant that's going around, and said he's confident that it's safe and effective. Two questions. Have you yourself gotten vaccinated, and do you disagree with the Republican whip?
Well, your first question is a violation of my HIPAA rights. You see, with HIPAA rights, we don't have to reveal our medical records, and that also involves our vaccine records.
And do you disagree with
I'm so sorry that is low as hell. Like I said, a little bit of a rush this morning, but if you haven't seen it, Marjorie Taylor Greene says, that is a violation of my HIPAA rights, first of all, and she starts to do this. Now, I know what this is. When you turn in your swivel chair, it means I'm a little nervous. I'm going to say something I don't know the meaning of, like HIPAA rights, which mostly just applies to doctors, not sharing your personal medical records. And I'm going to just probably, deflect. She just pleaded the fifth. On something that she has been decrying for months now. She's trying to recall or fire Fauci. Her whole hashtag is fire Fauci, right? She believes that the entire CDC, the entire Biden administration, they're full of crap. She thinks that the vaccine is a lie. She thinks COVID has been overblown. She said this over and over. You know, she's been in her hotel room on lockdown doing push-ups and, squats and sort of trying to look a little bit more human, I guess, somehow, and flexing her little CrossFit indoor routine, saying that that's the way she's going to stop the COVID virus. This bitch didn't even have an answer. This bitch didn't even have an answer when it was, well, so are you vaccinated? That is a violation of my HIPAA rights. And here I thought Marjorie was the real deal. Such a shame, Marge. God, I thought you were just like so MAGA, I thought you like really believed in Q or whatever. I thought you were, wearing masks that said masks are basically Nazism. Haven't you been comparing this to the Holocaust the whole time? Cool. So, wow. Suddenly, when asked point blank, you plead the fifth, you plead your HIPAA rights. You can't just lie. You lie about everything else, and you can't just lie and say, no, I haven't been vaccinated. I think you've been vaccinated, girl. I think you got jabbed twice. I'm going to say you got, what'd you guys think? What'd you think she'd get? What'd you guys think in the comments? What'd she get? She get J&J? She just get that whole thing at once, just J&J because she's strong? I think she got Moderna. I'm going with Modernskis. She definitely got vaccinated. It is so funny, man. It's so funny to see these MAGA blowhards. When push comes to shove, they all believe the science. They all understand what it is, how scary it is. Even Trump, right? Even Trump knows that shit. And yet they'll allow people like we saw in the Louisiana hospitals to go on believing, joining their dumbass Facebook groups. They want them to die, which once again, just the weirdest self-defeating prophecy self-defeating strategy. You know what I'm saying. Just a weird strategy. If you're like, all these people of color are going to outnumber us, in 20 years. We have to keep them from the voting rolls. We have to suppress the vote. Y'all are doing some really good voter suppression on your own right now. Incredible. I love that. I fucking love that. Here, you know, the other day I was like, you know what? I feel like Marjorie's the real deal. She really believes what she says, but Matt Gaetz is full of shit. No. They're both full of shit. They're both cucks. Nobody believes this. And I don't know about you guys. Tell me what you think, but I feel like it's so much sadder to be duping people than it is to actually believe it. Because if you actually believe it, that's why I do think, you know, sometimes it's easier to convince right-wingers to rethink their positions than it is to convince like elitist liberals, centrist moderates, kind of, you know, the Meghan McCain to Nancy Pelosi's, to convince them to change their beliefs, because those folks are fine and safe and comfortable, and they've never had to question their beliefs, and they also don't really care. They're not passionate about anything. They don't have a moral compass or center. But it always is interesting that maybe like your crazy libertarians or your crazy Republicans, that so long as they're not grifting off of it, they're a little bit easier to convince. I'm not saying that like a Shapiro is easier to convince or a Charlie Kirk. You know, those are already grifters. Those are people who make tons and tons of money lying to their audiences. But it is always like, I feel like dark little storm clouds form over my head, you know, in my heart, when I realize that even the crazies are lying, and they don't care that their attitudes and their misinformation and their blatant racism will lead to things like January 6th and that insurrection, right? They don't care, because as long as they get votes, or they, you know, as long as they can like make a little theater of it. So here was Marjorie Taylor Greene. She spouted some BS continually on Twitter about the vaccine. She says that COVID only affects obese people. Great. That's why you got to join my CrossFit gym. We got to kick that COVID's ass with your abs. If only, man, if only that were the solution. It's not. But this is the kind of theater that these fools are elected to do. And you got to wonder, like, how her constituents feel about this.
I had to say. So what? Should this pact sue Twitter now? Should people sue Twitter because they're banning my voice? You see, it's a hypocrisy. And these are the things that we can't allow to stand. I will not stop speaking. I will not stop tweeting. I will not stop posting. I will not stop asking questions. Because if you have members of Congress that aren't asking questions, then I don't know what kind of country we're going to have. But
what are your questions? Are they, so when the Rothschilds turn on the Jewish space lasers, does that communicate with the Gates chip? Is that your question? Or is your question, are unvaccinated people dying at higher rates? Or does the vaccine actually work? Look at the numbers. May I bring this back on screen to show you what we have to thank for that February dip? It's the fucking vaccine, people. Who are you? What are you doing? You just set up little cameras around you and like, I've been elected to office, but stripped of all my ability to do anything on committees. So I am literally a meme. Literally a meme. That's all I do. Meme this. Meme it. Meme it. I am a human meme. I'll milk this till my death, until your death at least. I'm trying to think of a song. What is her song? Like, you're like an animatronic anti-vax ride at Disney fuck, you know? Like, you're just, that's my Disney fuck. Welcome to Disney fuck. It's going to be a wild ride. What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/bitchuationroom. Do it.